We forgot to do an intro. Here's your podcast.
Sloss and Humphreys on the road.
Muggins and cream and muggins, straight thuggin', living the dream.
That's our intro.
Fucking muggles.
Tickling the clit inside your head that makes you laugh. They said it can't be done.
Are we in the same seats?
That's hack.
Ah, muggles.
Accidental rim job in the park.
Kiss, kiss, kiss.
Or am I just being cynical?
Muggled it up on fucking Mugglepedia.
Where have you been since 9/11?
Before we go any further, quick 2-minute apology and announcement, and then I don't want to speak about it again.
And then it's going to be the Pretending to be Fine podcast.
Yep. Yesterday, we had to cancel the show in Aberdeen because there was a colossal fuck-up on our end, and by our end, I mean from my tuning company and my management. This was completely and utterly avoidable. But it was not avoided because people were trying to save face, and it meant there were a bunch of people in Aberdeen standing outside waiting for us to gig while we were sat at Tarmac in London. And we're very sorry to all the people that couldn't get tickets. We have rescheduled. I think we're going to try and go for January the 28th. We're very sorry. If it makes you feel any better, I am still filled with seething white-hot rage for two individuals. Who are supposed to have our best interest at heart and our fans' best interest. No, I don't. It's not a discussion. This is a statement.
No, I'm joining. Well, go on, you make your statement. It only happened to you.
But I don't want to get into it. We've had too many podcasts in the past where it's just us ranting and bitching, and it's not good content. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry to the people of Aberdeen. It shouldn't have happened, and I would love to say it won't happen again. And I can assure you it won't happen again, because if it does happen again, several people are fired.
I think people will be able to relate that work in jobs where there's like an office upstairs where you go, oh, right, the people that are at the spreadsheet aren't really thinking about the people on the ground.
No.
That's not people that they're playing with. And you think with an industry like this, it would be a little bit more...
People who are supposed to have
a little bit more personal, wouldn't it?
People who are supposed to have you back and are supposed to care about your well-being and your mental health, actively and consistently making decisions that directly affect those things.
There was a couple of things at play, like to not whinge too much. We started the UK tour immediately after getting back off the USA tour, so it was already off to a bad start because we're just getting a taste of being back home. In fact, just enough to do our laundry.
Yep.
And it was like I would have probably been better off for it psychologically if we just powered through.
Mm. Well, I mean,
you get a little taste of home. Like I went back, I had a welcome home party. My wife, she put a hot tub. She hired a hot tub for us. We had all kinds in for cocktails. We had a belt of time, and that was welcome home. And then I was just gone again after two days.
Your Mac's about to run out of battery.
Oh, is it not plugged in? Oh shit. Also, like to move on from this. You've just this is the technical difficulties we have today. If anybody's watching this on YouTube, you're going to get to see me keep getting up and wiping the lens of the camera.
Yep.
This is because yesterday when I went off, the day before yesterday when I went off on tour to Brighton, I put all the podcast stuff in the boot of the car so Natalie could bring it here without having to lump it in.
Aye.
Obviously, we've just had the coldest weather this winter.
Yep.
So all the stuff's been freezing cold in the boot of my car, right? And I've set up straight after you've been on the Peloton just over there.
I went for a rage ride this morning.
He had a rage ride and sweated out a fraction of the anger that he's feeling.
Yep.
And that's still floating in the air right now. And when I set up all the cold tech, it's all sopping wet. It's a bit better now actually, but the camera lens keeps steaming up. So if ever it gets like you're watching it through frosted glass, that's Daniel's rage sweat.
Aye, sorry we're having a very, very steamy podcast. Now that I'm not
done.
The professionals who know they fucked up. They are allegedly sorry, and we will find out whether that's true based on their actions in the future. In order to change the subject, I have a very important question for you. What do you think would be the most satisfying way to kill every member of American Airlines staff? Not necessarily efficient. It doesn't have to be efficient. Like, we're not trying to like get rid of them across the board, wipe them off the face of the earth. What's like for you, for your soul, for your heart, and for your mental health, what would be the most enjoyable way to kill every single one of them?
Right, I think for every time they've been rude to someone, they get pricked with a pin.
Oh, okay. So like death by 1,000 cuts, but like by 150,000
But
pricks.
it's the self-harm of every time they've pricked somebody.
Aye. And and I can assure you, if you work for American Airlines, and even if it's just a small pin, every single member of staff will bleed to death by the end of this.
If your company fucks up, don't take joy in it.
Aye.
Don't take joy in the people you fucked it up for's day being ruined.
I can't believe
it's a culture. This is the thing. It's not just, you know how sometimes you can go, oh my god, fucking the staff at Minnesota are all fucking patronising, right?
Yeah,
you can do that with a town.
Yeah, they've got that Minnesota nice thing.
Yeah.
It's like in Paris, right? In Paris, they're like, we're just rude here, and you're like, all right, well, I'm not coming back then if that's your overriding personality trait. But I get it. You're a capital city, and you're a capital city that a lot of tourists come to. I understand. I don't respect it, but I do understand.
And it's your home, right?
Yeah.
But that's the culture of a place.
Yes.
Right? That's the culture of a place. However, American Airlines have got a toxic culture within the ranks, and it doesn't matter if you're in a place where everyone's hospitable, like New Orleans. The culture within American Airlines is to treat you like a cunt.
Man, you could be in the nicest part of America. We were in the South, and look, I know people have different opinions of the South.
But it's hospitality. They're known for it.
Yeah, Southern hospitality, and we say this as two white men. So obviously it's different for us with accents. They love us. Southern hospitality is really good. Like, I love going down south. People are so friendly. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Like, friendly smile, eye contact. And still, somehow, American Airlines just finds people who were abused as children, were just have some sort of mental illness where there's like, you know, that guy that had a tumor in his brain that made him fancy kids.
Aye.
Just
Colin.
They've just got some fucking tumor in their head that just makes them so angry. The thing that pisses me off most, right? So look, I get it. Like, you're dealing with so much staff every day, and you're dealing with so much of the public every day, and you're not only that.
And it probably is that. They're probably dealing with each other, and they're probably really underpaid, and they probably hate the company they work for.
But you're also dealing with the American public every day, and that's Karens, and that's all the other Americans. What really upsets me the most about it is, quick pop quiz, what's my favourite company in the entire world?
British Airways.
It's the greatest company in the world. I'm not even sponsored by British Airways. And I will tell you right.
You're not even put off by the fact they're called British Airways. You're just like, okay, I'm going to give you that because you provide a good service. And if the rest of Britain was like that, I'd like Britain. I'd be a flag shagger.
Man, even yesterday during the fuck up, like British Airways, like we got to the terminal, we were trying to get a flight to Aberdeen. We knew there was going to be one leaving in 45 minutes, and there was a huge fucking queue at everything for a checkout. Kai runs past this lovely British Airways woman who can clearly see that he's flustered.
Jacqueline.
Jackie, he was like, we need to get on this flight. We don't have a ticket for it. We're booked. And
just getting a taxi from Southampton. We've got a show tonight. I literally poured it on her.
We're stressed and worried, and she went, okay.
She calmed me down.
She calmed you down, and she went, okay, very subtly, both of you, I'm not allowed to do this. Follow me and don't make a scene. And she queue cut us all the way there. She sat down. She couldn't get on the phone to like the ticketing company. So instead what she did, she has a friend who works in ticketing BA.
And she used her personal mobile
to phone this person and go, hey, I've got two lovely guys. And I'm just there going, give this woman every promotion in the world, give her all of the money that ever exists. But this is it's just British Airways. She
tried to get us onto a flight that was about to take off in 25 minutes, and she couldn't, and she was gutted.
Yeah, she was like, "I'm really sorry. If you want, I can try and get you on the Glasgow flight, and maybe you'll be able to like drive up." She was
coming out with solutions.
She couldn't have done more. She could not have done more. Jackie from British Airways, Heathrow Terminal 5.
You're the only good thing about our day yesterday.
Yeah, you are a diamond, and also to all British Airways staff, thank you so much for being human beings and treating human beings like human beings. The fact that British Airways are partnered with American Airlines is the difference between glitter and Gary Glitter. That's like, one of them is like a fun thing that you bring out at children's parties and you decorate it. It's fun for everyone. And one is a pedophile that fucks children.
Ruins children's parties.
Like, that's the fucking... I cannot imagine two companies that belong less together other than like maybe PETA and a butcher's. Like, your goals are the opposite. British Airways goals is like, let's get this done in the easiest and kindest way possible. And American Airlines is, you know what? I reckon if we keep pushing them, we can get a white guy to do 9/11. I really, really fucking reckon if every single member of our staff are undereducated, horrible fucking staff,
An atheist's going to hit the Freedom Tower.
Man, it's the only thing and by the way, if you work for American Airlines, I'm not legally allowed to say end your life, but end your...
But can we say it like as if it were the noise next door?
End
your
life
there. Right? And this is what it's like as a partnership with British Airways and American Airlines. You know when one of your mates has just got a shit partner? Like one of your girls just brings a lad out with them that just gets into fights and causes trouble and can't handle 2 beers.
Natalie's partner does my night.
You know your mate abuses that +1.
Yes,
and gets somebody invited to weddings and shit that shouldn't be there because they're not on the same level as your friendship group.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's what British Airways and American Airlines is.
It would be like, you know, you go, hey, you go to the cinema, right? You go to like one of the Lux cinemas where it's like the massage chairs and you got like you can order stuff to the table and they come out with booze and it's nice. It would be like turning up there and they're like, hey, unfortunately, the Luxors, it's just closed today. We can't do it. But
we're gonna make you watch Wonder Woman 1984.
yeah.
Like what?
But we're gonna make you watch it on the back of we're gonna make you watch it on a meth addict's phone while he tries to sell you heroin and tells you all of his business ideas. And I cannot. Like it would be like here's what it is. It would be like me going in Aberdeen yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, we're so sorry. Daniel's lost. His flight is grounded in London. He can't get to Aberdeen. We know you were so fucking excited to see him, but sadly he's not here. So we've got the next best thing, Peter Kay.
Some people would love that.
Yeah, but not my fans.
That would really trim the herd for you.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I should do that. Like, just go do that. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Peter Kay. And anyone that cheers, I'm like, security, those are out. Those aren't my fans. I don't want them to be my fans. Off you fucking pop.
Aye. Garlic and bread, though.
Oh, he's so shit. And he's a cunt. I just want everyone to know that. Peter Kay, notoriously, one of the most known facts about him on the circuit is that he is a horrific human being to everyone he works with.
Steals his friends' material.
Steals his friends' material, steals his friends' work. Just a big bastard of a man. And not funny to boot.
Again, he's got it all, but he's a grafter. That James Corden ethic, that capitalism.
Well, I mean, James Corden's another one.
Have we spoken about graft enough?
Have we spoken about the James Corden Reddit AMA?
I don't know what that means.
So you know on Reddit, Reddit.
Yes,
you're aware of it.
I feel like I'm a bit of a boomer when it comes to Reddit.
Reddit was cool. Reddit was cool, and I say that in air quotes because it was never cool, but it was popular like 7 to 10 years ago.
You know when I first started hanging out with you in Little Alley?
Yes.
You were bang into Reddit. And
I wasn't, he was.
He was.
I've never been into Reddit.
But how on did you not get chive off Reddit? Or am I just being an absolute like...
No, I got chive off of Ali. Maybe he got it off of there.
Right.
Aye.
Because I remember you were like such internet nerds and that wasn't my world, really.
Yeah.
Like my world was MSN and Hot or Not.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
I remember MSN. You know, that was...
You're a tail ender.
MSN Messenger.
I remember the birth of MSN.
MSN Messenger we're talking about, yeah?
Yes.
So you come home from school, right, and you've not spoken to any of the girls that you want to speak to in high school because who's got the courage to do that? So you go home and you go on MSN Messenger with all your friends and you add people via their emails and everyone's got like different fonts of their names and there's always like My Chemical Romance quotes and all their best friends right out there and conversation goes the same every time.
When the girls you like were on, like my ex last would come on, I was like, oh, there's Drink Treble C Double Stay Single, I'm going to chat to her.
Wait, what was your name?
Oh no, he has Red Hot Ice Queen. Straight. They were my two favourites to chat to.
No, but were these people in your school or are you just on chat roulette?
One of them was my ex last who I would try and booty call. So when she was on, like I was like, ooh, I might be able to get a lead.
Booty call when? How old are you?
After we broke up.
How old are you here?
How
when
old?
You're on MSN Messenger?
I still lived with my parents.
Aye. So how old
21?
were you? You were on MSN Messenger at 21?
Hi, we last was 17.
No, it's just, because of course you're a generation above me, but for me, MSN Messenger is just such a teenage angst.
Oh, no, we were all out there trying to get laid.
Wait, that was your Tinder?
That was our Tinder.
Really?
I would Tinder for people you knew. You'd get the fucking MSN when you're chatting about with bars now. I'd chat to them.
And if they didn't reply to you, fucking nudge them.
Knock on the window. You remember that GIF? It was like you could make a GIF pop up that like actually knocked on that window. Oh no! I saw a fucking belter tweet the other day that went viral. Again, if you know what ASL means, how's your back?
Age, sex, location.
Aye.
It's
so funny that you just can't, before I start, how hard are you? Let's get it the way. I'm not looking at you. I don't want to get into jail. Tell us how hard you are, straight off the bat.
That's good. How old are you?
Right.
What gender?
No homo. What gender are you?
Aye. And where do you live? Is it how much petrol do I need to put?
Is there any point in this conversation? Look, straight to the bat. Is this conversation worth it?
Yeah. And after that, I'll work out whether you're interested. But first, we need to work out if I'm interested, and if I am interested, whether I'm going to jail or not.
Aye.
I had an entire relationship on MSN Messenger. Like I remember.
Mm-hmm. I got like semi-catfished on it.
Aye.
Like I ended up having like a really like in-depth relationship with someone on text that we never met, and I just gathered that she didn't exist as who she said she was.
Oh, okay.
And the pictures weren't real. But like I was chatting with her for a while. Like it wasn't like I didn't get catfished on the scheme of things. This would be like turning up to an AA meeting because I'm getting off cigarettes.
Aye.
It was like base level. I got duped by somebody, but I wasn't that emotionally invested in it.
You didn't send any dick pics or anything?
Nah. I've never been mad for dick pics. Like I've sent dick pics before when girls were like wanting insurance policies so that they would send boobs.
Aye, I'll do that.
And
yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I've never been like thinking that they'd ever want to see it.
Well, see, I would normally have agreed with you there because, like, and maybe this is just like a male perspective and a very like blinkered male perspective. Remember how I was that fucking rant I did where I was like, "Who wants to watch a man eating pussy in porn?" And everyone was like, "Well, it's not just for you. All those fucking you've got your own porn feminists. Enjoy it." Like I feel like there are. Like after speaking to Cara and with people in the past who have sent dick pics to, some girls are like, "Man, I love dicks." Like not only do I love dick, I like your dick. Of course, I want to see it. Like because to us, it's just like such a gross, weird protrusion that we're ashamed of half the time. Like women's bodies, and again, maybe this is just a matter of perspective, but like women's bodies, there's so much more to them. And to look at, and like the breasts are there, and they're either big and small, and all the curves are there, and then you're like, and the vagina's there, and it's like hidden, but it's not. Sometimes it's whereas the dick's just like,
Hiya! Hiya! Am I sexy?
Loiters?
Who wants to masturbate to me?
Like I change shape. Like this is it. Are we being straight supremacists here? Like by assuming that nobody wants to see a dick?
Yeah, we definitely
you know
are.
What? Like I want to see a dick, but like out of morbid curiosity. Like if Mark Nelson was there right now and he was going to get his cock out, do you think I'd be like, "Oh, Mark, no," I'd be like, "Go on, guys, look." Why am I still looking?
Don't do that. Oh,
I wouldn't be like, send us a pic.
But I guess it makes sense because look, as much as we're like, maybe girls feel that way. They're like, "Why do you find fanny sexy?" And we're like, "Because all the good bit of it's inside. It's a mystery." Like from the outside, it looks so small in this, but like the way it feels, it's just how does it?
The echo.
It's a pocket of promise. How is this? How does this small dainty thing on the outside make such good things happen? And also, man, gays must love dick pics.
You reckon? Because
yeah, I mean they definitely do. Like they definitely love cockpit. Man, gays get thirsty over like fucking. Well, not even just gays, women as well. Straight women get thirsty over like if you've got grey sweatpants on. Like they like the outline of if you can see the outline of the bobby.
Like your gig in Pittsburgh, did you have them all slipping off the seat? I was watching from the wings. I was like, "You've probably got your cock out." Just the way the light was hitting it. I didn't have that problem.
I also posted
same joggers, same lights. Didn't have the problem.
I posted a photo when we were in I think we were in San Francisco. I took a photo of me under a sign that said Pratt because I am hysterical, and I was in me trackies and I was baked. And Cara took a photo of it, and I just posted it just because. And man, I genuinely did it just because I looked like a Pratt. I had my backward baseball cap on, and I don't wear hats. The only reason I was wearing a hat is because we'd done the Orpheum, and they'd given away free hats. Well, not given away free hats. They'd had an Orpheum hat with Daniel Sloss tour show on it, and I just thought that was very, very cool. So I wore that, me trackies, and I'm smoking out of the thing. Take the photo, put it on Instagram, and it's very. I sincerely meant it as a look at the fucking state of me. Like, yes, I'm having fun, but I'm still objectively like a giant fucking loser who's just very lucky. And then I went back on like 25 minutes later and checked the comments, and people were just putting in the aubergine emoji, and like turns out you could see the outline of my dick.
Ah, you're thirst bitten.
And I said to Cara, I'm like, I didn't know, and she was like, I knew. I knew when I took it.
So do you think girls like the hidden promise of dick rather than the actual full-blown picture of the dick?
Well, maybe.
There's literally two women in the other room, and we're like, we could ask them, but no, we're just going to speculate.
No, but they don't want. They only want to be on the Patreon podcasts. And Cara really liked the feedback that she got from the other one. So and even Natalie liked the feedback that she's got the confidence to come on at some point. Mm-hmm. But
Natalie listened to it, and she was like, I want to go on now.
Good.
Like, yeah, she was like, oh, that's actually like broke me fear of it. Listening to Cara on it.
I do.
It added such good balance, didn't it, having Cara on?
Aye, I do wonder, women, right? So like and this goes out to gays as well. Anyone that likes cock, right? Anyone that's a fan of cock, like if you like the outline of the cock, right, in the jeans, like. Is like part of it the mystery of like how big does that get, or is it like when you see like a big one, do you want it to like get bigger than that, or are you like, oh my god, it's that big there, that's part of, like what's the because I know big cocks aren't like not everyone likes big willies.
It's like the anticipation, isn't it? It's like, you know, horror movies where they don't just show you all of the action, it's all about the suspense. Like American Werewolf in London's more about the fucking worry of it happening. The worry. The fact I'm calling it a horror story and saying worry.
Yeah. I feel like you've missed the American worry story. That's the
yeah, so it might be just the anticipation is way better than like, you know, when you get a horror that's just full go and you're like, that's just I don't need to see that.
Well, because I guess, because I mean, what's the men don't really like the mystery of it.
The lasses like body pics.
Well, not ours, but I reckon other ones.
Such a sad story, but yes.
Like I reckon they like maybe they don't because like I've definitely heard like some women and they're real adamant.
Also, we're totally generalising so many people at once. Like everybody's going to have their own.
Yeah, but that's, man, we're doing comedy. Like anyone this is the thing about comedy, because you're making generalizations. You go, yeah, welcome to comedy. Because without making a generalization, I can't make the punchline in the example I wish to make. Like this isn't a political speech. I'm not running for office. I have to make generalizations.
We're gathering data and then presenting data in specific ways.
So that we can make a punchline off of it. We're misrepresenting or spinning it around.
Body pics.
Oh,
do
yeah.
you think that's a myth that, you know, how like you'll see some clickbaits about girls like dad bods and that?
I don't think it's a myth at all.
Like if we're talking about statistically, if you're going to generalise based on the highest number, do you think the majority of girls like a dad bod?
Yep, 100%.
Or do you think they'll just like they're cool with a dad bod? They'd rather you just had a personality. They'd rather you were happy. They would rather that you had motivation in life and like you were caring and loving. And there's so many things that come before body that they'd much rather have a guy with a dad bod who's got all of those things than a fucking bimbo that's a bit of a selfish prick that's got a nice body, right? But if they could have all of those things in a guy, plus he took care of himself, do you think the majority statistically, the mean average would prefer somebody that was just looked like The Rock?
No, I don't. No,
not quite The Rock, because maybe that's like a bit too far on the gauge. But you know, just somebody that.
No, man, I reckon they
like Mickey off Snatch.
No, I reckon they want fucking like Chris Pratt from the Parks and Rec days.
This little tubby guy.
Aye,
handsome before body.
Nice, man. Genuinely, because man, I used to be in decent shape. You were in very good nick at one point, and you remember Natalie couldn't give a fucking shit the shape you were in. It was all for you. It was all for you. And man, I remember when I was going to the gym, right, and that was when I was shagging around a lot. If it wasn't for them, That was for me to, like, you know.
That bothered me a little bit when I had on your
sorry,
head happened. That bothered me a little bit when because I got myself in ridiculous shape. Like, it was fucking stupid. Like, it took too much to get there, right? It was unsustainable for a man in his 30s.
Yeah.
And sometimes she just wouldn't even glance up, and I'd be like, I'm wasted on her. Like.
I like that. Look, I'm in.
That's not why she got with me.
No,
She got with me because I'm class crack.
sure.
And that's what she looks up for.
Well, it's the
Looks
same.
up for the banter.
Aye,
For the quips, the puns, the relentless jokes.
aye.
They're having something to say for every situation.
I think Cara is now. I'm in the worst shape I've ever been in my life, and I'm genuinely
Aye, but
fine
let's
with
be
it.
real. So is she.
Aye. Well, that's so. Her thing is, like, I'm in the worst shape I am, and the reason I want to start
Such
working
a
it.
horrible thing to say. That's why it's funny. I just want to make that clear.
She's a fat cunt.
There we go. Just in case anyone missed the previous episodes. Why would it be here?
No. I'll also not have fucking anyone on the outside tell me what I meant by my actions and my words and what my relationship is. If you want to fucking project onto this, why don't you projectile vomit your shit elsewhere, you fucking morons. And also, I don't think our fans do that. I think that was just you putting in an unnecessary caveat. She's a fat cunt because she's pregnant. And she doesn't want me to be, she's like, don't get into shape. And I'm like, I would really like to, because I'm in dad mode now. Like, I'm off booze, I'm off weed.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
I mean, yesterday was a fucking challenge.
You've done really well not to drink yesterday, and I was going to look out for you. You know, after you started drinking in the lounge, I was ready to stop you. I was ready to give you a couple of slaps on the wrist, and then I was like, "But like, we could get round this by again. This isn't the fucking. This is just it doesn't, because I think the whole key is, if you could have one and then carry on going, then have it." And I would have had that conversation with you.
No,
if you can guarantee to me you can have this drink the day and then tomorrow's a new day, or start on the 1st of the month, it was a false start. And if you were to me like, nah, if I drink this, I'm done, I would have
Booze.
I would have had your back. I was ready for the conversation.
I'm in control of booze. I'm objectively not in control of weed, and that's why I've got to come off with. And that's my problem with booze, is if I do have booze, I'll just go, oh well, now I'll have a spliff.
And I felt really bad about last night. Sorry about last night, by the way. I was quite loud
You were
in the house, and you had to text us saying shut the fuck up.
Aye, please.
And
I did say please.
You did say shut the fuck up, please. And you did text for both.
Aye.
But me and Colin were having a lovely time, because we both had a tough day, right? But I have tough days by, like, I talk about everything. If I've got a problem, I want to just thrash it out. I want to talk to every angle. I couldn't talk to you about it yesterday because you didn't want to talk about it.
Yep, no.
You wanted to internalise it. You wanted to get mad at the people who it was because of. You didn't want to be appeased because you liked being in that pocket of anger because you had someone to point it at.
Yeah,
So you
and
didn't want to talk
also
about it.
I do not want to fucking calm down. If you have fucked me over, if you have absolutely fucked over, I'm not calming down. These are the fucking consequences of your actions, and I am gonna fucking compress all of this hate into a fucking diamond and tell you exactly how I fucking feel. You do not get to ignore my feelings and my emotions just because time has passed. So, like, you're
not getting away with this. I'm
No.
making sure you don't, which means I'm going to stay angry even if it hurts on the inside.
Yeah, 100%.
So, like, I've got this way of, like, when I'm in that pocket of having a shit time and I feel like the fucking world's on top of us, like, if I was being tortured, I'd laugh at myself for being tortured. Like, oh, look at me, get my nails pulled off. Right? It's my way of processing stuff. And that wasn't washing with you yesterday. You didn't want anything to do with that. It was making you worse. So I just separated myself from you and just, like, watched me fucking stuff. And I still hadn't processed it because I don't process it by internalising. I just process it by externalising. And then last night he went to bed and I was like, oh, finally I can just fucking talk freely about this. And I just started fucking offloading my day onto Cullen. And he was like class cracker about it and we're banter about it, and then he was like, shut the fuck up please. And I felt so bad because I was like, if you're awake to the point that that's keeping you up, that means you should be down here and you're having a drink and you can't because you're off the drink.
No.
And I was like, ideally in an ideal world he would have fucking had a whiskey with her last night and had a bit of a spliff last night with her.
No.
And you didn't have that option. It's like a release valve.
I did not want to calm down. I was completely and utterly wholeheartedly fucked over by several people that were meant to have my best interests at heart, and I do not want those feelings to go away because I do not want them to be minimalised.
I was actually texting Neil about it quite a bit yesterday because he's
Wouldn't have happened if he was here.
That's what I was saying to him and all. I was going because Neil is so fucking good at his job, man. And I was texting him because even though I'm texting Natalie and we're in the group chat with our mates and all that, right, who are comics who understand what it's like to be on the road, he is the one person in the world who knows exactly what we've just went through.
Yeah.
And he knows exactly what it's like to be on the floor, right? And I was saying to him yesterday, like, we are conditioned to trust the process. So when we've got this fucking spreadsheet, if you've got to be here for then, you've got to be in Southampton for this Logan Air flight thing, we've got a taxi to there, right? We just trust that process. When we get to Southampton and the flight hasn't existed since August, and you're just like, what the fuck do we do now? And then like we have to get a taxi to a flight that we missed. That's what our day is, right? That wouldn't have happened under Neil.
No.
Neil would have realised that there was storm warnings and stuff, right? And he would have checked the flights just to make sure everything's going on time. He would have
fucking checked us in the day
He
before.
would have checked us in the day before. So what I was saying to him is we're conditioned to trust the process, and he is part of the process, a massive part. He's the biggest part of the process for us. And if you take that away, but continue to trust the process, then you're trusting something that isn't there.
Mm. Well, I mean, it's also, look, let's not get into it.
Yeah, let's not get into it too much. But what got us on to talking about Neil?
Last night, you drinking too loud.
Oh, yeah, that was...
and me
sorry,
being off the booze.
Genuinely sorry about that, because that's not what you want when you've had a bad day and you're sober.
Aye. So man, I'm very glad I went. I'm very glad I went to sleep because I was when I woke up this morning, I was still fucking angry. I didn't want to take it out on you. I was like, because I'm very aware that like when I internalize a fucking bad mood, like I know I don't ever take out on Cara, and I'm like, right, do that thing you've got there, do that to everyone else. Try not take out on everyone else. So.
I'll have to be sometimes, because sometimes you take it out on me a little bit, like just with your attitude, because with attitude, everyone's getting hit, right? And I'm like, oh, no, we're on the same team here. We're going through this together. Like, this isn't just a you against the world thing.
But we're processing it differently.
So differently.
Very, very differently. I do not like... I don't like getting problems out there. I don't want to solve the problem with you because neither of us are the cause of the fucking problem. And venting just releases the steam. And sometimes it's not, I want the fucking anger in there so that I can be... as honest and as brutal to the people that fucked me over as I can be. I don't want any of that. I don't want to be able to laugh at it.
You don't want any compassion.
I don't want
to humanise the people you're mad at any point.
Do you know what? For the past fucking 10 years, stuff like this has consistently fucking happened, and I've brushed it off, and that's why it continuously happens.
And you haven't really brushed it off. You've ended up in therapy because of it. Like you've actually built yourself back up, not brushing it off. You've pieced yourself back together after it.
Yeah. And I'm at the and in all honesty, like just with the way this tour's been organised this fucking year, I am very openly, I'm at the end of, I'm burnt out now. That's me completely and utterly burnt out. I'm going to do and perform most of the shows that I'm booked in to do. We are going to be rescheduling some of the shows. I'm sorry if that disappoints you, but it's for mental health reasons. It's fucking base, motherfucker. Celebrity base. Mental health reasons. Can't be bad, motherfuckers. We're going to be rescheduling shows because if I do those shows, I will fucking kill myself. I will drink a bottle of whiskey on stage and I will just yell and cry and piss and moan because I have been overworked and I don't want to be overworked anymore.
The product's been recalled. That's what's happened. If the gig's been cancelled, it's like a product's faulty. You get a car and there's a technical difficulty that's causing the airbag to go off in the face of the customer, right? The product gets fucking recalled, it gets fixed and it gets put back on the fucking production line. The product's nearly to the point that it's broken that the gigs won't be to the best of our ability. No. Because our ability is... There's so many times during X I walked on stage and I fucking hated the audience for making me be there. And I never ever, and I made a vow after X that I never wanted to feel that way again. Now, fortunately, I'm at the moment where I don't, but I now know my limits. I now know what I'm capable of. And some of the shows later on this year are going to be rescheduled for next year because... if you were to make me go ahead with them, I'm telling you right now, I would fucking despise you. And I would give you not a good performance. I would give you an angry performance, not a funny Daniel Sloss angry rant performance. Like I am bitter and jaded and I've lost my love of my favourite thing. Do you know, I posted the tour schedule, like as we got back on it in Brighton, right? Like this is the run that we've got coming up. And you know your Uncle Scott's friend Mick.
Aye.
So the Perth. He comes to the gigs in Perth every year. He spotted how fucked up the tour was, and that would get straight back on.
It's
it.
amazing how we can notice it and the public can notice it, but the people who are allegedly meant to have our best interests at heart and one of the largest touring companies in the entire world who's meant to have our back cannot see what literally everyone else can see.
And
it's mind-boggling.
He pointed out on social media, like, do these people not care about you? Like, you fucking wrote in the comments, and he didn't see our day yesterday.
No.
He didn't see.
Mick, I can objectively tell you, they don't.
And I thanked him for spotting me.
Aye.
I thanked him for noticing me. I was like, mate, thanks. Like, I appreciate that you spotted that.
Yeah, they don't care. They say they care because that's what you're meant to save face with your clients who are angry at you. But not a single part of this December tour was booked with us in mind.
I was saying, you know, I don't know how much of this is fucking dirty laundry, like, but
No. The rest of it we'll do off fucking camera.
Yeah,
right? We've done enough at this fucking point. You've still not answered my. Oh no, you have answered my question. You want to prick all of the American Airlines staff.
Aye.
And just like so they slowly bleed to death. Are you staying there for it?
I actually got humanity out of one last because it was like every stage of the way after. You know, we got because we haven't done a podcast since our flight got cancelled to come home.
The worst. The absolute worst case fucking scenario in the world.
The flight got cancelled to come home, and it didn't get cancelled while we were in the hotel. It got cancelled while we were on the internal flight.
And I know at home you're like, why was the flight cancelled? They never told us. Nah. They just decided it was. They say it was a maintenance fault, but I can guarantee you,
they didn't sell enough tickets. And American Airlines are heartless fucking bastards. So they were like, let's just merge today's flight onto tomorrow's flight.
Yeah,
they basically done that, didn't they? So it was 24 hours later. We had to have it, but no, but like we got off the plane from the internal flight, and nobody gave a fuck that our flight had been cancelled. Nobody was like, "Oh, let us fix that for you." Mm-hmm. We were treated like we'd made the mistake.
Yeah, it was like we'd missed the flight,
like as if we'd missed the flight or forgot our ticket or passport or something like that. And I was trying to appeal for humanity at every step of the way. I was like trying to tackle them, like, you can't.
Well, this is the problem with and to be fair, it's not just American Airlines. American Airlines is one of the worst examples of it. But I was talking to Rue, and he was just like, "You have to understand, American customs service is some of the worst in the fucking world." And this is why you get fucking.
These are places that you're not getting a tip, so you see their true colours.
Yeah. And if they're not working for tips, they're not, and they're just devoid of fucking empathy because
the mask doesn't just slip; it fucking hits the floor and they kick it across and show you their fucking face.
It's why I'll never fucking understand any American that's like, man, I fucking hate these like customer service things where they outsource all their guys to India. I don't want to speak to a guy in India. Why am I speaking to a guy in India? Because everyone in Connecticut is a fucking cunt. That's why. The reason
Perfectly wholesome place.
No. The reason America outsources customer service to India is because Indians are nice. Right, and don't get me wrong, it's also because it's cheaper labor and capitalism is an inherently evil thing. But the Indians on the other line are they're friendly, they're nice, they're there to solve your problems. They want
the good feedback.
They want the good feedback.
They want the positive feedback.
Whereas in American customs, they just could not give a fucking shit because every single American is the star of their own movie. And that's it. Because when you grow up in a country which is just that much of like any one of you can be the president, any one of you can be a fucking celebrity, and it's all, you know, media be number one, all this fucking shit. It just breeds this level of I'm the center of the fucking world. Everything and everyone is a character. And if I'm mean to someone, that doesn't matter because the second they've almost got what's the thing that babies object permanence. I don't think many Americans have object permanence. You know,
and that's the peekaboo thing. Like, if there's something not in their field of vision, it's gone.
It's gone, It
never exists.
Yeah. So Americans will just be like, the second a human being's out of my eye, they're dead. So I don't need to be nice to them because they don't live. Because once they're
everyone's an NCP.
Yeah. Once they just stop rendering them once they go round the corner.
NPC.
Once somebody is no longer in my life, they're no longer a person. So there's no consequences. So why would I have to be nice to them? I also
and obviously not you, American.
No, I did say on stage this year.
Not you, Dad.
I did say this year on stage. I was like, you know, Americans are really nice, and I've always said Americans are really, really nice. That's one of my favorite things about Americans is how friendly they are. And I'll be honest with you, this trip that fucking disappeared.
Not
like it was. Don't be wrong. There were nice Americans,
so yeah,
but it's no.
Are your fans a pocket of people like because they're so lovely, man. People were like bringing like thoughtful gifts and
really
stuff
nice.
Things we can travel with and like perishable stuff.
There are
like,
nice Americans, but it's no longer the norm.
Perishable stuff being spliffs and like stuff that you can the knitted.
The knitted Peggy.
The knitted body warmer for Peggy. Oh my fucking god! How fucking...
Somebody made me a really, really cool custom-made Dungeons and Dragon DM box, and then somebody also made me like really cool D&D dice with like my jokes in the middle. Don't get me wrong, there are literally millions of very nice
Amy bought
Americans.
Maddie's a pincer merch. Like bought a pincer dog collar.
But it's I now no longer believe that the average American is nice. And actually speaking to so many Americans over there, like,
so I just felt bad that the folk with that mentality are getting hit with the same broad stroke, and you're just like, oh, there's some actually really caring, loving people out there. But
these are the ones
they don't like litter your day.
No,
they're like, we've had to find them by having a platform and bringing them to us. They're not your walking around the street Americans.
And they're the ones that point out, because they were the ones like. Americans after the show, the ones that would come smoke splits with us, were like, we can't believe you think Americans are nice. Americans are assholes. And I was like, no, man, like you guys are also friendly. And I was obviously just using them as an example because my impression of Americans are
them and waitresses who want money.
Yeah, that's my impression of Americans are my fans. And so I'm like, all Americans are lovely and friendly. And then we got a brief view of what actual most Americans are like. And to any American that told me that I was full of shit for thinking all Americans were nice, I apologize, you were right. That was an incorrect generalization for me to make, a harmful generalization for me to make. Not all Americans are nice. Many of them are. Probably 100 million of them, which is a lot. But unfortunately, there's 300 million of them altogether.
It's bad stats. I found as well that we've been on the UK tour for three days now, and we've only done one gig. But in that one gig, because of all the fuck ups, in that one gig in Brighton, I felt a little bit refreshed by it because as much as I love the American audiences, they were good for the ego.
Just say. It was nice to perform to a real audience again.
They knew how to be an audience.
Just say it was nice to perform to a real audience
again.
Because that's what you mean?
Yeah, it's not. It
was nice to gig to a real audience again.
In America, it was like having 1,000 hype men. You couldn't say your age without them cheering your age.
So I'm 31. Woo!
I'm 31.
Yeah, 31. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
And then I was putting ketchup on my chips. They're like, I've heard of ketchup.
Oh,
I've heard of ketchup, but why are you putting them on chips?
You made the excellent point. America does not allow for pregnant pauses at all, which is why I could never have filmed X in America at all. Man, I could barely get through fucking X in Boston because when you're trying to fucking build this tension in an audience of like, you know, we've been laughing for a bit and now we're going on to like a serious bit and you don't know where the next punchline's coming from. The power and the fucking skill comes from keeping that silence there. But because Americans are so terrified of being alone with their own thoughts, you got a booger.
I've been trying to get rid of it now on the sly. I can feel it.
Because
didn't eat it. There was somewhere to put it.
I just think they just cannot be in those moments when you're like building tension. Like British people will just sit there and be like, "Oh God, like where's this going?" Aussies will be like, "Oh my, what's he gonna?" Anyone else? Whereas Americans are like, "There's silence. That can't be a good thing." Yeah! Woo! Please, and I beg you, if in America, if you come to my shows in the future, if you see anyone whooping or near you or friend, please stop them. Don't be rude about it, but just go, just so you know, I listen to his podcast and he objectively fucking despises when people woo. It's the rudest thing.
You know why?
It's the most disruptive thing. So please police it. If you're on my show in America and somebody woos, politely turn around and go, just to let you know, he hates that so much. And he won't say it because he's too polite, but he fucking hates it.
It's a conscious noise, that's why. It's not an involuntary noise.
Yes.
You know, like the involuntary, like laughter is like the audible expression of joyousness that comes from the overload of endorphins that you've triggered in the brain.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes if that gets too much, you need to do something with the rest of your body and your hands start clapping because it's overflowed.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like the clapping and the laughing's like this involuntary response. So that means the person's completely relaxed into your company and they're letting you take them on a journey. Mm-hmm. And anything that's more than that, like the whooping or heckling or anything, that's a conscious decision that isn't a natural reaction to what you're doing.
It's just fucking rude.
It feels fake.
It is fake.
It feels fake. And as I was saying, it's good for your ego that it's the stripper pretending to fancy. It's that. So if you suspend your disbelief, you're fucking gonna have a belt that time in America walking around the stage 6 inches off the air while they're whooping at you and all that.
Which is why so many pish American comedians think they're class.
Mm-hmm. Aye.
Right. The reason Joe Rogan thinks he's good at comedy
it's because he can hump a stool and they're going to whoop. Because then it's not making them laugh. You guarantee they're not laughing there. You guarantee they're not overloaded with endorphins and laughing, but they will whoop.
I'd fucking love more than anything to see Joe Rogan play at the Edinburgh Festival. I would love, like, do it.
He'd be alright. He'd get to McEwen Hall and he'd bring all the rank sorts into Edinburgh and then they'd overflow into the fucking rest of the gigs.
No.
You'd end up with fucking Nick Helm playing with a bunch of Joe Rogan fans and it'd spoil his gig.
He'd bring in his own audience, but again, he would bring in his own British version of that audience, and even the British version of his audience doesn't exist. There's no whoopers in Britain. Those don't exist, right? And even like the fucking dregs of our society here
know how to react to the gig.
Know how to react to that. Well, that's not true. Fucking Kevin Bridges fans are the worst.
They want to be spotted. They want to be seen by him. And they're in a room with 10,000 people.
Kevin Bridges announced his first tour in like so long yesterday, and we've got friends. Gareth Waugh saw him at the stand the other week, and we're just like, man, his new material is fucking phenomenal. I really want to see Kevin live because I think Kevin's one of
the best place to see him live is when he's trying new material at the stand.
Like I want to see
when it's a hot ticket, not when it's the
man. If seeing Kevin live in a auditorium or an arena is horrific because his fans are just, not all of them, but 5% of them are scum of the fucking earth who have never been in a live show in their life, and they just want to make it. They get too drunk, they get fucking coked up, they take fucking ecstasy.
They think they're at the darts.
And man, I've heard so many stories of Kevin having to go off fucking stage, and I can't imagine. Like, if I get annoyed at whoopers, I can't imagine what it's like to be Kev up on stage. Just shut the fuck up.
Because he plays such big gigs and stuff. I reckon they get drowned out. I think it's more annoying for the people that are sat next to them.
He's walked off stage several times at loads of gigs, and like on his last tour because of his audience just would not shut the fucking fuck up.
Did I tell you I had a couple of pints with him the other day?
No. Oh, you did.
I was at the Kelvin Grove Cafe just because it was class because we're meeting up with one of Natalie's pals who's she works at Secret Escapes, her old job, and she come up just to get away from London. You know, I just fucking need to get out of London and spend some time in Edinburgh. I come through to do the Billy Connolly like tour of the murals. I didn't even know they were there, but there's loads of artwork of Billy Connolly. She's a big comedy fan, and then she come and had
murals.
Murals? Did I say Muriel?
Yeah, that's an old lady.
That's an old lady's name. Muriel's wedding. Muriel.
There's a question for you. When do you reckon the last Muriel was born? Nobody's bringing Muriel back.
Nah.
No, that's not true.
It could be a bit of a hipster name, couldn't it?
Yeah, Tory hipsters.
You think so?
Yeah.
This is Muriel.
Yeah.
Yeah, like fucking...
Aye.
People that live in, like... People that go to the Henley Regatta.
Aye.
So I were having a pint with her, just a couple of hours having an old-fashioned. As it happens.
Old-fashioned man or woman?
Oh, that was funniest. We've told that story enough, haven't we?
Aye.
Do we need to tell it again?
Nope.
Then fucking Kev came in with his dog and his Ben, and Peggy was there, and the fucking dog started playing with each other, and I was chatting to Kev, and he went and sat down with the thing, and he just come out and just want to come and have a pint with us, and went and chatted there, and it was belt off for Natalie's pal, because like that was just class for her.
Kevin Bridges.
Like for me, it was a catch up with a mate.
Aye.
But for her, it was just like fucking wide eyed. Like, this is class.
My point originally. So even if all the Kevin Bridges, I don't think will be much of a crossover between Bridges and Joe Rogan. Maybe there'd be. Joe Rogan would still be found out, man. He'd still be found out. Like, even
if he'd done the Fringe.
Yeah, 100%.
I think you're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he could put on a show in each town and get the right audience.
Yeah, man.
He'd get his USC fans.
He'd fucking sell it out, man.
But if he was to do a run of shows for 30 days to comedy fans, poo-poo.
Stinky poo-poo.
There's going to be one or two of them gigs where he looks at himself.
Oh, no, I don't think he's capable of self-reflection. He's not a man who looks in a mirror.
We need to have like a button now for the fucking Danny hates Joe Rogan section.
Fucking despise him so much.
It's been 3 podcasts now.
I fucking hate him. He's just such a thick, unfunny cunt.
I'm going to bring back Muggle Corner to put myself in it by saying he lives rent-free in your head.
He does?
He lives rent-free in your head.
Does?
But that is one of the most Muggle Corner comments
Aye.
in the entire world.
I don't want him to, but I just keep... Man, like, I stopped watching the news last year. I came off of Twitter last year and Facebook and everything, just because, man, I know I get easily wound up, right? And it's on me. Like, at one point, I just have to admit and be like, look, is the world annoying, or do I just get annoyed? Like, and realistically... It's me. I get annoyed by things. So I'm just going to try and be less annoyed by things. I'm going to remove these things. Like, I thought the news was going to make me smarter. It didn't. It made me angrier and more scared. I thought Twitter would allow me to stay in contact with my fans and people I like. It didn't. It made me angry and scared.
What's this? Is that my
It's your
phone? Oh, sorry.
Unfucking professional piece of shit.
I'll ring you back, Dean. Dean and I are listening, so... I'll have already spoke to you by the time you listen to that. I'm not ignoring you.
I've completely forgotten my point.
It was from Rent Free in the Head to, you stop watching the news.
Oh, yeah, stop watching
Stop reading social media.
But for some fucking reason, I just still keep hearing about Joe Rogan. And don't get me wrong, I think Joe Rogan is often fucking misrepresented in the media. Like, people will do what I fucking hate people doing in comics.
Out of context.
Out of context, tiny little 30-second clip of Joe Rogan saying that, and that's never fair.
I'll like splice together bits of him doing something. If anybody took a real fucking... like a real vitriolic dislike to us, they could stitch together some wank from this podcast.
Yes, of course. And that's what many people have done, is to misrepresent. Joe Rogan is a smart man. He is a brilliant interviewer. His knowledge of the UFC, he's the greatest UFC commentator of all time.
Treading old ground.
Aye.
I'm just saying, like, we've done this.
Have we? Right. I'm so sick of just seeing him being like, and now he's got Alex Jones back in and here's Ben Shapiro, and you're like,
right, we've got to get off this, mate. I'm gonna be proactive and just go. This is the 3rd time we've had this conversation in 3 podcasts.
Fine. I wish I could stop saying him. It's also because Elliot's a fan, and I respect Elliot so much as a comedian. Apart from that, it's very hard to explain. I'm like, Elliot, you've been a better stand-up than Joe Rogan since you were 19 years old.
To change the subject, let's talk about how did you enjoy getting home, even though it was for a couple of days? Did you like being back?
Aye.
What was Ray and Cara like for their reunion?
Well, so Ray, the longest Ray's ever gone without Cara, apart from before she knew Cara existed. But once Cara came into her life, Ray suddenly was aware that she was actually a goddess who was worthy of all praise all the time. And me and Cullen don't give Ray as much attention as Cara think Ray needs. So Ray was, bless Cullen, he was giving her daily Rayleigh updates on what she was up to. And then we sort of came back, and she'd been with Cullen, she'd be sleeping with him the entire time, and we go back, and Ray doesn't give a fuck that I leave. I'm in and out all the time. I am just like, I'm somebody that's occasionally in the house that's really good at stroking, that will feed her, but if I disappear, all right, he's dead.
Yeah, you're just like another cat.
Aye, yes. 100%. Another cat, but a cat that she likes. And she was very excited when I came back the morning I came downstairs. She was like, oh, we do the couch thing every morning, which is I come down, have my breakfast, and then I'll lie on the couch. And I'm always like, just read for 45 minutes at the start of your day. Because that way you've read for 45 minutes. Yeah. And then, hey, I'm smart. Or at least I feel smart.
Yeah, you start your day. It's a good habit to get into, is reading before you touch your phone.
Aye.
That's how I spent a lot of lockdown when I was on a mental health offensive to just try and fucking keep the water from taking the boat under. Aye. The first start of the day, I was read a chapter of the book before you even get your phone.
So she'd jump up and she lies down beside me. She's like, this is great. We come in. She is very angry at Kat. Like, Kat goes to pick her up, and like, Ray loves being picked up because it makes her feel like a human being, and she's at eye level. Didn't like being picked up. Ran away from Cara, and then when me and Cara were sat on the couch, made a real fucking point to go and lie with Cullen, which she never does. Like, the whole thing is just always go to Cara. I find this hysterical. Ray forgives me instantly because I've not slighted her. I haven't betrayed her by leaving. I always leave.
Yeah.
But then
it's
also...
not out the normal. So do you think Ray held a bit of a grudge? Like, fucking leave me?
Well, yeah, but she could only keep the grudge going for so long because me and Cullen will never give her the attention that she wants. So
Is this a real thing, or is this projected upon? Is this humans putting their own emotions on?
Definitely that. Yeah, definitely.
So if the cat wanders off, the cat was just always going to wander off whether she'd left or not, but now she's like, oh, you're wandering off because I left you?
No, I will... No, there is... Like when Cara comes back from like a day away from the shops, Ray will run to her. Like, Ray's always happy to see Cara. And if Cara gets up from the couch and walks away, Ray will follow her. Like, she's Cara's shadow. And when she came back, she was... Man, normally she comes upstairs and sleeps with us. And every morning Cara goes downstairs. And if Ray hasn't slept with us, she'll be down just on the bench in the living room. And then she'll run to get fed by Cara. Mm-hmm. Day one that we come back, Ray hasn't come up during the night. And we go downstairs and she's not there. And like, Cara is just...
the systems have changed.
Yeah. And she's yelling down. She's like... Ray, because she knows she's in Cullen's room. And
Cara just wants her routine back.
Aye.
She's like, I just want my cat to be...
Ray's not coming upstairs, and the reason she's not... and so Cullen eventually comes up, because Cara's just yelling for the cat to come upstairs. And we're like, oh, has she been with you all night? And he's like, no, she came down at 7:30, which is the time when Cara normally goes down. So Ray knew
Cara was going to come
downstairs.
And she's like, I'm not going to be here for this.
No, fuck you, aren't it?
Wow.
Aye. Peggy, do the same?
I love Ray, just before getting on to Peggy, I love Ray how, like, because she remembers me as well. I've known her for fucking...
Years?
6 years, maybe?
Aye.
And,
5 or 4, actually, because I think it was only, yeah.
This is Goscube.
Yeah.
And then, in your previous accommodation. Then she comes, she spots it, she gets up, she walks over, but not all the way over. She comes up, walks up and went, do the rest. I'm going to maintain some dignity here.
Aye. Look,
Peggy had no dignity.
None.
Nah. Peggy fucking launched herself at us. She launched herself at you and Cara as well. Like, she remembered you too. Not quite as dramatically, but still, it was nice to see that she remembered us.
Aye.
And she was happy to see us. And she tried to give Ray the same treatment as well, but we like held her back.
Aye.
Like, that would not be well received.
No. I've never seen... I don't think Ray's ever got her claws out, but...
She's slapped.
Yeah, she'll slap, but Peggy
It
doesn't
as well,
seem like somebody that's going to be
Peggy's getting bigger now as well, so it's a bit more problematic. Like, it was...
bigger.
Nah, she's still tiny. Like, my first thing was just like, look how big she is, and then you see her in comparison to, like, when Bridges brought his Labrador.
You're like, oh, still a tiny dog.
And I'm like, I've still got a little... I'm not going to be able to spin my way out of this one. But she's been lovely. It's just been class, and just fucking threw herself at us and just wouldn't stop. She was like fucking. I thought she was gonna hurt herself.
Aye.
If anyone's on social media, I think I can see it on my Instagram and that. Put it on.
Before we go, I know we finished the American podcasts a while ago, but genuinely, to everyone that came out to the shows in America, it was such a phenomenal tour. Like,
as much as we'll slag off your country and your people and all that, fucking what about that time that we had?
Yeah. And you know, it always comes from just a place of we've just been there too much and we're tired. It was so fucking good. There wasn't a single fucking bad gig. There wasn't a bad crowd. There was a couple of bad experiences, but that was just like traveling, and that happens in the job.
And thank you for letting we vent about our bad experiences, because that's what I love about this podcast is we're living this fucking weird life. It's an extraordinary life that we're living. And we're
very lucky.
We get to open the window into our world twice a week for an hour and just take you with us and share our experiences with you. And even if that is us fucking whinging about stuff, like, thanks for letting us vent.
Aye. And then also, I mean, and if it's not for you, fully fair enough. I mean, we do numbers fluctuate on this fucking piece of shit. Nice. Also, just as a friendly thing, as a plug for another podcast, What's Upset You Now with Paul McCaffrey and Sean Walsh is brilliant. It's they've basically done the concept of the podcast, or what they were trying to do, which was, you know, the conversations you have down with your mates down at the pubs. They're like, it's a window into that. So what they do is they record a 25-minute podcast with you where they're just like, what's upset you now? And you just rant with them and you complain. And then the whole podcast is 50 minutes long. They just say like 15 minutes. There's no intro. There's no outro. There's just, you tune in halfway through us complaining about things.
So at the start the conversation, then press record mid-conversation? So that
No. You record for 25 and they'll pick 15 out of that essentially.
So it's a short.
Yeah, and
Great.
it's a great short term. So if you, like, you know how podcasts are traditionally like an hour long, and maybe your commute isn't an hour long. If you want a lovely fucking 50-minute podcast for like cooking, cleaning, it's so funny. Their guests are amazing. They've had like Stuart Lee and Tom
That
Allen.
means
and,
it's like it's a surmountable task to backdate it.
yes,
To listen back through it.
Aye. Oh, but they've only got like 3 seasons out, so I've
Great, that means you can get up to speed.
Aye. The reason I bring it up is because I was lucky enough to get to go on it earlier on today, and we had such a good fucking laugh.
And what was your argument that you went over?
Hotel breakfasts, hotel staff that come in before I've checked out, and little cups of the little fucking glasses you get at hotel breakfasts. And some other stuff. Go listen to it. It'll be out soon.
So like more grapes.
Aye.
than
And just rants. We've got some shows coming up, and obviously there will be some shows being rescheduled. I appreciate your understanding, and if you don't understand, tough. I'm exhausted. I'm tired.
And it's not. It's
for my mental health, base motherfucker.
It's not,
for my mental health.
It's not us. It's like this shitty thing happens where like if anything needs to be changed or moved, it looks like we've let our fans down.
And that's the way
when it's actually somebody that you've never seen in your life and wouldn't recognise if you walked past them in the street. That's let you down.
Yeah,
not
they've
us.
just gone. Yeah.
They've just got like you can be the face of that.
Yeah. And that's what they do. They go, but imagine how much you're going to let down your fans. I'm not letting down my fans. You're letting down my fans because you booked a bad tour.
Mm-hmm. And we'll probably fucking even get a slap on the wrist for being authentic right now and talking about it.
Couldn't give a shit. Couldn't give a fucking shit. Fire me.